Let's go, let's go. Alright, people wanna hate every day, it's okay.
My name is Jesse May. I lived life on the edge from the age 13 through 21, which led me to serving time in federal prison. These stories are from that time, my time in federal prison, and my life after as I built a successful excavating business. I don't condone or recommend any of the behavior from my younger years, but if you'd like to hear the whole story, subscribe, Reckless Success. All right, welcome back, Reckless Success. I'm here with my wife, Lesa May.
Hi.
I'm Jesse May. Tonight I'm gonna tell a story about my past, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about business, maybe some steps to how we run our business. But first, we'll start back with a story about when I was running wild and doing drugs. Everything was going wrong, so
We'll give you the entertainment first.
we'll give you the entertainment first, and we'll talk business. So one time, my buddy called. I lived in Carterville, and he was in Heron at Blue Blaze at the trailer park.
The Blue Blaze.
Yeah. And he called, and he's like, hey, I've got a duffel bag that's got all these precursors, which were things to make drugs with. So he's like, I got cops are circling the block, and I need to get rid of this stuff. And I'm like, damn. All right. So before I left my house, I had a white T-shirt, and I wrote with a Sharpie or a permanent marker, DEA, real big across the shirt.
I remember this shirt.
And
Well, I love that your friend called you in a panic, and
Yeah.
you're like, let me first make a Superman shirt, like
Yeah.
a DEA shirt,
I was just
before I
chilling.
come help you.
I was just chilling at home, and he's like, hey, I got all this illegal stuff. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll come get it.
You're the
It's okay.
Superman.
Yeah. Daddy will be there in just a minute. Don't worry. So I put my shirt on. I had one of those camo masks that like just cover here and Velcros in the
Yeah.
back. People use them for hunting. I had that on because I'm going to get this duffel bag. And my plan is I'm just going to pull up. I'm going to stop a couple blocks down the road, call him, where it's safe. Call him, tell him I'm almost there. Pull up, have him running out to me, just take off with it.
Oh my gosh.
Run right past the cops.
I don't know how
whatever.
you could do things like this. Like, my anxiety is rising as you tell the story. I could never. It's crazy.
For me at that time, it was just like everyday stuff. I was like, oh, no, they fucking with you? Don't worry, I'll be right there. Yeah, I'll be right there. So as I'm doing my shirt, getting it all ready, about to leave, he calls me back. And he's like, hey, my brother stopped by and he took that stuff with him, so we're good. And I'm like, all right, well, I've already got the shirt on. I'm already ready to go ride. I got my four-wheeler all ready to go. I'm like, all right. So I go to, I head to Cambria to our other buddy's house. Different direction.
So now you're just going out for the
I'm
night
just-
with your DEA shirt.
I had no plans of going this way. And a quick backstory. A couple days before I got pulled over they come to the house and told me not to ride city streets, blah, blah, blah. And this is a big chunk of city property and then private property on the side of it. And I used to ride across the city property. They told me to stay off city property.
Like, the police came to the house just to say, we see you riding everywhere. Don't do
Just
it.
please stop. Yeah, just
They're
stop.
begging you.
Yeah. Just, yeah.
Please give us a break.
So I'm coming over to my buddy's house, and I've got like 5 grams on me of meth, and I'm coming down this trail, and it's a big strip cut on the side of me, and it'd been like a landslide right up to the trail to where if I couldn't get off the trail. It was right on the edge of my tire, so there's no turning around, nothing. I'm just riding slow on this little ledge.
Okay.
So I get to the next chunk of land, and it's like smooth down to the strip cut. And as I'm riding along, I'm just tooling along in like second, third gear, just riding by myself, and all jacked up. This guy with a big beard, all camo, steps out from behind like a little Christmas tree. And I think it's the landowner, because I know the landowner through my parents.
Okay.
Sorry. And he steps out from behind the tree, and he puts a big Dog the Bounty Hunter size can of mace up like this. And he says, police, freeze. And now remember, I'm wearing a shirt that says DEA on it. You know?
Handmade, homemade,
Gosh.
handwritten shirt. How
I'm on
embarrassing.
a 660 Raptor 4-wheeler.
How would they know you'd be coming? They just anticipated
That dude had been waiting, like, for who knows how
for
long.
days. He's
for
probably
days.
camping out there.
And I wasn't even going that way that day, but I guess they knew I was cutting through there.
Eventually, yeah.
You know, every
They're like,
couple
we
days.
know how
I was
often
through
he's
there.
coming.
Trail was beat down pretty hard.
Yeah.
So he puts the mace up. He's like 20 foot in front of me when he steps out, and I'm starting to slow down. I'm coming right up to him, and I'm going to stop because I think it's the landowner.
Oh my gosh.
And right when I get there, then he puts the mace up, freeze, and I just let it rip. I dumped the clutch second gear, and he's like now just a few feet in front of the 4-wheeler. He jumps back, and he sprays, and it shot out more like a line. And so it said DEA. The orange line came up, went over my shoulder where I cut the donut. You could see it, and down my back. So he had to jump back because he was going to get hit if he would have stayed standing where he was.
Yeah, because you revved up. You said like you're speeding by him.
Yeah. Well, he's spraying me with mace. You know, I'm trying to get away from it.
Right.
So I cut this big donut on the side of this strip cut. Big donut. I come back out, and as I'm taking off, I hear bang, 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 bang up in the air.
Was he shooting at you?
Yeah, he was shooting. I don't know if
Like
he was
at
shooting.
you or just trying to let you know he was serious?
I wasn't looking back to find out.
That's fair. That's fair.
But
Ooh,
at
that's
this,
scary, dude.
yeah, at this time, the mace. So luckily, I had that mask, and it was like a little
Right.
over the nose, like this. But my eyes were still out, and even with the mace hitting me in the shoulder, like
Ooh.
I've still got my eyes squinted like this, just barely looking through them, and I can feel them slightly burning, you know. But he didn't get me in the eyes. So I'm just ripping what I just had to go slow through because it was a big drop off. I'm just skating through there, fourth gear on the Raptor. I get around the strip cut, and there's his truck. It's the chief of police's truck and his trailer. So he'd rode his 4-wheeler over there and had been camping out waiting on me. So real quickly, I stashed my drugs, and I take off right through town, and I went and rented a storage unit. Well, I had somebody else rent a storage unit. I'd called them. Go rent a storage unit.
Did you
here.
have a lot of storage units? I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
had,
you
like-
used to reference going to storage units, and you'd be like, "I have to go to Marion. I have to go," and I'd be like, "Who has all these
Yeah.
storage units?"
Yeah,
I
I'd
don't
have,
even
like-
know who anyone at that time that had a storage
I
unit.
didn't have a house, but I had like 4 storage units.
Just for your Raptor, not for actual items.
Yeah, just for stashing stuff and hiding out. So these people went and rented a storage unit, and it was the ones in Energy. So I rode out to buy like the airport on 13, those storage units right there.
Yeah.
I rode the 4-wheeler right there,
That's crazy.
from Cambria, and I put it in the storage unit. Now I leave it. I'm like, all right, because the cops are on it
Now they're
hard.
looking for you.
So
Yeah.
the chief at that time that sprayed me with mace, he was so pissed off that he didn't tackle me. He could have tackled me off the 4-wheeler and had me because he's got me right there. And I didn't weigh 135 pounds, you know, and this dude's like ex-Green Beret.
Oh my god.
So he definitely could have tackled me, and, you know, until the meth kicked in, I probably, you know, I'm sure I could have like,
then you'd hold
Yeah, I
smash
would have
with
been
your
like-
DEA shirt.
yeah,
like-
I'd be like Popeye, got a little bump of meth out and hit it, and then all of a sudden my little 135-pound ass swells up. Anyways, so he's mad. He's telling another chief that we know real good, you know, because he's like, we know him personally real well, family. So, anyways, he's telling him that he should have tackled me. He's like, I should have tackled his ass. I had him. Well, that guy tells my mom that this other guy is shooting at me or shooting in the air
Tell
or
her
whatever
what
he
happened,
did.
because you're not telling her all these
Right.
things going on.
So I had a Kevlar bulletproof vest. I don't know who sewed the Kevlar bulletproof vest into a hunting vest, but somebody real nicely for me had it on my bed all folded up there. When I got home, I had me a Kevlar vest and a hunting vest. 2
Stop
panels on the
it.
front, 2 panels on the back.
So you can ride in it.
Yeah, wasn't
Protected.
nobody going to shoot her baby.
Yeah. That's a
So-
special kind of mother's love, though, because it's like,
Yeah,
it's one of those things you're going to frown upon, but
you're shooting at my baby.
you're shooting at my baby. So, you know, mama's
Right.
got to do what mama's got to do.
Right. So he's mad about that. So I leave the 4-wheeler in the storage unit for like a couple months because the cops, I mean, they're on it. It was like Ghost. I don't know if you know who Ghost Rider is on the crotch rocket, but he
No.
just goes and races through different cities. You know, he's
Oh,
all
I think you
blacked
showed
out.
me videos, yeah.
Yeah, that's what that four-wheeler
But
is
it's
like.
weird, like, so he saw you, he knows it's you, he can't just, like, come and arrest you or something? I mean, I guess you didn't technically, you were
I mean,
fleeing and
I was
eluding, right?
trespassing. No, not technically. I was trespassing at the time on city property,
And I
so it
guess
wasn't
technically, was it you? Like, you had a face
right.
mask on, he may have thought you were a DEA
Well, and
agent.
they could never find the four-wheeler. The cops never actually seen the four-wheeler because I'd never let them get close to
Like,
it.
it'd be
They
gone. It's
just,
not like at your parents' house where you're staying.
yeah, it's not like they knew that Jesse had, well, they knew Jesse had a 660 Raptor, but
Yeah.
they'd never seen it. The only time they'd seen it was the ass end of it as I was leaving them in a big cloud of dust. But, so a couple weeks later, I'm ready to go do some bad deeds, and I need my four-wheeler to do it on. So I've got this little pouch, and it's like just a little hunting bag, and I've got a bunch of precursors in there. And I go to the storage unit, open the door, there she is, fire it up. I'm like, all right. So I take off, leave Energy, and I'm headed back towards Cambria.
Is this the same time? Like, I remember at one point you built like a rack on it or something.
Yeah.
Is that around this time?
Yeah, it had the rack.
Or
So
you still had your rack?
yeah, it was a 660 Raptor. Well, the Raptor doesn't come with a rack, but we had, since we were all tweaked out, we fabricated like a utility four-wheeler rack on the back of it. You know,
Yeah,
we drilled holes
yeah,
in the
I've only
plastic,
seen
it
them on
clamped
big
down.
ones besides yours.
It was like a quick connect rack too. I could take it off real quick.
Uh,
So, and then on top of that rack, I had a Red Ryder wagon. Do you remember that?
That's what I'm remembering, is that I remember you having like a wagon on the back and me being like, what in the
Yeah,
world?
so
I was super naive. So I met Jesse among this time of his life, which he was towards the tail end of the crazy stories. And the reason I met him was because, and here's a PSA for parents. I was a really good kid. So my parents were divorced. I lived with my mother at this time. And so I didn't even have a curfew because, like, I'm not getting in trouble. I'm a straight A student, honor roll. I'm a good kid. I don't like to be in trouble. I've always been a good kid. But that saying, like, nothing good happens after midnight is the truth. So, like, when everyone goes home and the only other people out at 1, 2, 3 in the morning and you're chilling because you don't have a curfew, someday your kid's going to end up on the hill running into like some Jessie May. And like, I didn't realize like what I was getting involved in, like the people I was hanging around. I just thought we were all hanging out, maybe having some drinks. I was just dumb and young and naive. But so like I would see your wagon on your four-wheeler and be like, that's bizarre. But like,
yeah, it had a purpose.
yeah, I didn't have much more. I didn't ask a bunch of questions about it. I just thought, oh, that's kind of funny. There's a wagon on his four-wheeler, but
Right.
I shouldn't have been around anyway. I was just throwing that out there. That's why I was around at all.
Nothing good. Nothing good happens after midnight, and I didn't wake up till 11. So
Yeah, there you go. But so go ahead. So this is when you had your.
I had the Red Ryder with the wood grain around the sides. Do you remember it had the wood grain? It had like the little side post on three sides, except my side where my back was. And then in the damn Red Ryder, this all had a purpose. In the Red Ryder wagon, I had bolted down 2 milk crates. And I did that because 2 propane tanks slide perfect into a milk crate without having to spend time with ratchet strapping or anything.
Don't get
down.
too involved here. We don't want any people advice on.
I mean, I'm just saying this is what I've done. This was my experience.
Don't ever do these things. They're
Don't ever
not
do
good.
these things. That's what the milk crate and the wagon was for. So I went to the storage unit. I got this bag, and I mean, I strap it down with like 10 bungees real tight in the milk crate so I didn't lose it because it had all my stuff I needed. Mm-hmm. So I'm coming through Craneville. I didn't make it very far. Bam, run right into a cop that's sitting at the church.
No way.
Hits his lights. I turn and I go into a farmer's field that it was all cut, but there was bigger ruts. And when I started hitting those bigger ruts, I felt my whole seat moving around. So I stop, I look, and when I done that donut, when the cop sprayed me with mace, I broke the subframe, which is the square tubing that comes up, holds the seat and the wheelie bar.
Okay.
I broke that clean off. Like, I had twisted so hard on that four-wheeler that it snapped the subframe.
Holy crap.
I was getting it. So
you didn't realize that when you rode it to the storage unit that it was busted?
My adrenaline was so high.
Right.
You know, I mean, I got there and like
locked it
so
up
fast. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Anyway, so I realize it now that I'm out in the field. The cops are out here on the road. You know, I'm like, damn. So I call my buddy. Hey, I got to come over. I need you to fix this up. another backstory. The four-wheeler in the past had been reported stolen because it did get stolen from me one night. And when I
Okay.
reported it stolen, I had a warrant. I called the cops to come take a report and they arrested me. I'm like, you're shitting me. My
Are you
four-wheeler got
serious?
stolen and then I get arrested. I'm on my way to
What would you
jail.
have a warrant for?
Like traffic or
Just
something.
stupid stuff.
It
Because you
wasn't,
only ever got like traffic tickets,
yeah, it
right?
wasn't nothing bad. I'd missed court for traffic, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
So here I am on my way. Like, you're kidding me. So whenever I got it back later that day after I got out of jail, I put a reward out and got it back in like,
Stop.
I put like a $1,500 reward out and
Oh
had it
my
back in
God.
like 2 hours.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, there was people calling me like, dude, I just had a posse of meth heads show up and like search my house and search my garage and my
Looking for your
shed.
four-wheeler?
Looking for your four-wheeler. I'm like, I can't help you, man. Everybody's
No.
fair game right
Oh
now
my
until I get my
God.
rig back.
That's funny. It's funny because it's like you had so many people working for you, like in weird ways like that. Like crews
Right.
of people out searching for your followers. Obviously for money, but it's just funny that you were like this little, I don't know, king of what was going on.
Right.
Sending people out
In my own world.
in your own little world, yeah.
Uh,
So you realize your four-wheeler is
So-
busted.
So I ride the four-wheeler over to my buddy's house, which was hot. I mean, the cops knew what was up there. And he had a shop out back. That's where everybody would hang out. And in the house, people would hang out. So I get there. I show him where the frame's broke, the subframe. He's like, all right, I can fix it. He's going to put a tube over it, weld it, and bolt it, and all kinds of meth out shit,
Right.
whatever. Put tape on it.
Probably.
Glue it together.
Glue it to hot glue.
So while he's working on it, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go inside. There's a couple girls in there. I'm just going to go in there and hang out a little bit. You know, it's better than smelling all this exhaust from the welder and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I go inside and I'm talking to these girls and they're getting high. And as I'm talking to them, I glance out back at the shop and I see a cop standing at the shop looking in the window of the shop.
What?
I mean, full plainclothes cop. And I'm in the house and I look out and I'm like,
You mean
oh,
uniform or plain clothes?
shit. I mean,
You
uniform.
said plain clothes. They're
No,
in. Oh yeah.
uniform.
Okay. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
No, he's in a uniform. So I'm like, shit. So I didn't say nothing to nobody. I just took off, ran right out the front door. I mean, I was a runner. So, I mean, I seen the blue. It's time to go. I took off out the front door, ran across the yard, and he lived on the street. Got across the street, and there was a barbed wire fence. I dive over the barbed wire fence, and I make it about
Shut up.
30 feet out in the field when more cops are coming
Like
down
a
the road.
track star jumping barbed
Yeah.
wire fence. Again, it is crazy the abilities of people that are on drugs or
Right.
like doing
I
criminal
could've-
activity. Like the stuff you can accomplish when you're motivated.
Right. I could have been in the Olympics in
Yeah,
that.
seriously.
Because I don't even think I touched the barbed wire. I think I got to it and just kind of dove and then tucked and rolled. It was, yeah.
And landed in a field.
Right. So I got about 30 feet out in the field and there's headlights coming and there's a street light. So everything's kind of lit up and I just lay down right there.
Oh my
Because I don't want
god.
them to see me, you know. I mean, it's an open field.
That's so scary.
So I'm laying there and all these cops come. And from my perspective, I just see the cops and they're getting everybody out of the barn and they're getting everybody out of the house and they're arresting some people for warrants, but they were
Okay.
looking for me, the four-wheeler.
I swear, it seems like they really did have like trackers on you. Like, how did
Yeah.
they always?
Well, I mean, I'd ran from like Energy to
That's right.
Cambridge.
You would
They
see
knew
that
that-
cop. Never
yeah.
mind. They knew you were out.
The last I did.
So now they're looking for you. They know you're out and about again.
Yeah.
Like he's on the run, y'all. Keep an
Right.
eye out. That's crazy.
The four-wheeler's back. So,
Yeah.
because it just goes, it just disappears for months at a time. And then I would be all good.
Frustrate the police.
Yeah,
this
they'd
time.
drive by. I'd be at the house and wave.
on the porch swing, like, "Hey, y'all, I'm just chilling."
Yeah. They came wanting to search the barn,
Oh.
and I'd let them. I'd be like,
Go
"Yeah,
ahead.
it was my parents." I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead. There ain't nothing here." And they'd go look. They'd be like, "Where's the four-wheeler?" And I'd be like, "I ain't telling you shit. Good luck."
That's.
I mean, they couldn't do
nuts.
nothing about it.
So they're on this hunt for you. They know you're there. After this chase.
Yeah. So I'm out in the field laying down, and on the inside of the barn, the cops find the four-wheeler. Well, it's reported stolen, and the guy's telling them like, "No, Jesse brought it here. He's showing them the frame that's broke. He's like, the frame's broke." And
looks even more stolen. It's
right.
busted.
And while one cop's pulling on my camo bag in the Red Rider wagon.
Oh, right.
And it's got so many bungees over it, he can't get it out, but he's working on it. And as he's doing that, the other cop's looking for the VIN number. And Ronnie, the guy, he's dead too. All my friends at that time are
That
dead.
is so sad, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah. So his name was Ronnie.
Rest in
He's dead
peace
too.
again.
So Ronnie was like, "Oh, here's the VIN number," and it took their attention off the bag, and the cop gave up. Find the VIN number. He
Lucky,
convinces
because
them.
then you said there's like all this stuff in the bags.
Oh yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. So he convinces them. They arrested a guy that had a warrant. I think a girl from inside gets arrested. Okay. Meantime, I'm laying in this field, and a horse comes up, and the horse starts licking my arm. I'm running from the cops, right? So I'm all sweaty, and I've been up for days. The horse starts licking my arm. There's a cop standing out in front of the house. I can see the cop not even 75
Oh,
feet away under the
oh my
streetlight with his people. And I'm just laying there and I'm thinking, damn, I hope this horse doesn't step on me for one.
yeah,
Because it's
no
licking my arm.
kidding. It would kill you immediately.
Yeah. So then it starts,
Oh,
as it's licking my arm, then it starts blowing and making noises like, oh.
like
I'm
it's
like,
mad you're in its
fuck.
field.
Yeah, or just curious. I don't know. But I'm like, shit, I didn't want it to draw no attention.
Yeah.
The good thing about the horse, though, another thought I had going through my mind was they were always chasing us with dogs. And you can get away from a cop on foot, but when he gets that dog out, you're done, dude. I
Yeah,
don't
you're not
give a
outrunning a
shit.
dog.
But in this situation, I thought if they come and they let the dog out looking for me, I'm going to jump up, grab the horse's mane, and ride this horse off like a damn cowboy because I know the horse isn't going to let the dog get it, you know.
Oh
And
man.
eventually, the cops take two people to jail, you know, and my four-wheeler's still there. Why they didn't impound it then? It was always like they would want to impound it real
Yeah,
hard.
that's so weird. Like you think they'd be like, we know
We've
this.
been looking for
Yeah.
this, but they never could catch me on it. So like,
Technically, they can't take it if it's just sitting in someone's barn getting fixed, I guess.
and at this time, I had multiple Raptors. I don't know if you remember that, but the original Bud Light one, and then I bought another one. So like the name that four-wheeler was in,
Yeah.
you know.
And they really don't have true proof that it was even you all these times. It could have been a friend riding it. Like,
Right.
I don't, the police have to follow their own protocols.
Right. So they had the Raptor in there right there. They could have got it.
Dang it.
But anyways, it stayed there. So I'm out in the field. All the cops leave. I'm like, all right. So as I'm still laying in the field, I see a car coming up the road. And right when they get close to me, all of a sudden the car's like starts sputtering and runs out of gas.
No.
Passenger gets out, starts pushing, and it's meth heads coming to this house. And I
Like
jump.
friends of yours coming to hang
Yeah,
out.
I jump over the barbed wire fence. I run up beside him and start pushing.
See, always helping your friends.
Yeah,
You had a good heart.
Yeah, he looks over and he's like, Jesse, where'd you come from? And I was like, dude, the cops just left. I came out of the field. Four-wheeler was there. Everything was good.
And that's like normal for this guy pushing the car. It was what's so funny. He's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's finish pushing my car that's
Yeah.
out of gas to
You
this
think,
drug
yeah,
house.
I'm like, we just got, cops just left. He's like, oh, you think there's any dope? You think they got it all? Or
Right.
like, that's what he's worried
He's
about.
using his last dollar on his drugs, not his gas.
Yeah.
Like he's like, we'll figure that out tomorrow.
For sure.
We'll walk home tonight.
Right.
We'll jog there. We'll be all
Fuck it,
excited.
we'll push the car there if we got to. We can get enough. So, do you remember the shirt, the DEA shirt?
I do, because it was on your wall at your mom's house.
Yeah. So
Which is funny. I feel in my heart I have a picture of the shirt somewhere,
Mhm.
but I would have hidden the picture like when I was younger from my parents ever finding it. So I don't, like, it's got to be somewhere in a box. I need to search all my old
Right.
stuff. But because I would hang out just, yeah, like his mom's house, not at the like drug houses. So that's where, like, I saw the shirt. So I'm just saying, I wasn't at this guy Ronnie's house. I saw the shirt because it was at your mom's house on your,
Right.
because he lived at home still in the
So
basement.
I framed the shirt
Yeah.
because it had mace. It
the
was
mace, yeah, the
DEA,
orange.
and then it had the orange line of mace over it. And I thought it was frame worthy. I had it on the wall for quite a
Long
few
time.
years. I was stoked about it.
Yeah.
But that was just my life of acting crazy and running from the cops. So then eventually, they never could catch me in the act, but eventually the feds did catch up to me.
But
And-
isn't the reason your license got revoked because of you running on your four-wheeler? Like,
Mhm.
how did that come about? Like, because if they didn't catch you on it, but did they somehow come up with a way to be like prove it
Yeah.
was you and revoke your license?
Yeah, they tricked me. It was a trick. They couldn't catch me, so they tricked me.
How?
Well, so on the license situation, I'd been running Tom. It was the cop. He's also dead. So
Rest
pretty
in
much,
peace. He was a good policeman.
yeah, he was one of the cops. So Tom come over one day and he says that the chief, which is the sheriff that sprayed me, or
Okay.
the chief that sprayed me, he's like, the chief's looking for a blue four wheeler with a camo front end. And he said, and this is Tom. This guy's chased me hundreds of times, but he's still my buddy. You know what I mean? He's still looking out.
Like we had said before, I feel like these cops obviously wanted to catch you, but they also, I think, had like some love for you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they thought of you, like, I don't know.
Right.
They didn't want, I think they just wanted you to be better. They didn't want you to be a little jerk you were being. They were like, come
Right.
on, dude, come
Right.
out of it.
Well, I'd still go up to the coffee shop and be like, "Hey, Tom, what's up, buddy?" You know, buy his coffee or something with some drug money. No.
Oh,
So anyway, so Tom comes over. Chief's looking for a blue four wheeler with a camo front end. I look over. There's my blue Raptor with camo netting. I had it wrapped around the front fairing.
stop.
I had a damn PVC pipe with arrows in it and a bow and arrow that was bungeed on the front.
Oh
I
my
was just, I
God.
was just reckless.
Yeah.
So he's like, Chief's on his way. He's looking for camo four wheeler, blue four wheeler with camo. So he's like, "You seen one of those around?" I look over, right there's my four wheeler. I'm
Oh
like,
my
damn, they got me because I'm
God.
at the hill at my house. And I'm like, hold on a sec, let me go look. And I ran over to the four wheeler. I yanked all the camo netting off of it. Tom's letting me do this, it's like weird.
Oh
They let
my
me do this. Tom's gonna let me do this and not say nothing.
Oh.
I go rip the camo off. I go to the front door, open the door, and I'm putting the camo in. And the front door was like belly height to me. We had stairs that went up.
Oh yeah.
And as I'm putting the camo in there, I'm emptying my pockets, and it's just all kinds of illegal stuff. I'm like cramming it to the
Oh
side
my God.
in the house. Chief comes. He's like, "Jesse, listen." He's like, "Just quit riding wheelies down the fucking road." He's like, "That's all I ask." He's like, "Just don't."
It's a fair
Just
request.
fair request. He's like, "Ride in the ditch, ride on the edge of the road. That's all you got to do." And I'm like, "All right, my bad. I'll be good." So the very next day, I come out from the hill. I got a beer. I'm like 19. It's like 10 o'clock in the fucking morning. I woke
Oh.
up, got high, drinking a beer. I'm like, well, I'm going to go ride around and see what my buddies are doing. I had no job or nothing, so it was just play.
You rode around like it was like a golf cart in like a luxury neighborhood. Like,
Right.
I'm gonna go on my morning cruise
Yeah.
on my loud Raptor.
So I pull out of my buddy's house on the hill, and I went by his parents and came out on the highway, basically, or
Yeah.
whatever it is,
The main road
through
like
town.
45 miles per hour.
And I don't know why the cop always sat right down there across from the dollar store. Remember that little cubby he would sit
Yeah.
in? I don't know why I went that way, but I'm like, I got a beer. I'm on a Raptor. It's got a clutch. I'm trying to do all this stuff.
Oh my
Well, let
God.
me go down the highway. So I take off, and I don't want to be on the highway long. So I get going, wah, 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 riding a wheelie. I'll be damned if right there ain't Tom that I just seen yesterday saying, "Ride easy." He's sitting right there.
Oh my God.
Here I come in like a 50, 60 mile an hour wheelie. Got a beer between my legs.
Like splashing all over you.
Yeah, it's like I'm drinking it as I'm wheeling because I got
Yes.
a clutch and I can't do everything.
You
at
got it in
once.
your mouth probably like, oh.
Right.
I get it.
So I whip a donut real quick. Now Tom, even though he's my buddy, he's starting to get pissed because I've gotten
Yeah.
away from him, making him look bad. So
Yeah.
he's telling people that he's just going to hit me next time. Like they're chasing me. They're
Oh.
not trying to ram me on the four wheeler. So he's like, I'm just going to hit him. And we had like up until this time, we'd been in like 5 recently of him trying to catch me. So I do this is middle of the daytime. I whip a donut. I'm coming back down the main road, but I'm on the
Is he
east side.
chasing you at this point?
Oh yeah, he pulled
okay,
out.
Okay.
I turn around. He hits his lights. He comes
Oh.
out. I'm going back towards Inchcliffe Cemetery from like the dollar store. And I'm on the east side of the road going south. So I'm going at oncoming traffic. Traffic's coming this way. I'm on the shoulder kind of in the road, in between cars. And as I'm getting Inchcliffe Cemetery about to turn in, I hear Tom's car like, whoa, whoa, like he's coming.
Oh my God.
And I turned too sharp and I caught the culvert with my front left tire, and that handlebar, bam, right into me. So I hit second and I just dump it. Whoa, and it was like 3-inch rock. And I hear the car come flying right up behind me, and then I just hear tink, 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 getting covered. I'm like, I'm eating it. So I get away because I go right past Inchcliffe Cemetery where I got all kinds of trails. Adios, Tom. See you later. So
Oh my God.
so I got away. So I think I'm good. So a few days later, the guy that was pushing the car that ran out of gas, I'm at his trailer house selling them drugs, and we got their. Yeah, I'll skip that part. But we're there, and all of a sudden, bang, bang, bang on the door, and the wife goes to the door, and it's the cops, and I'm okay. So I'm in my little red S10 SS. On my way there, I had seen Tom had somebody pulled over on the side of the road, and I thought I hadn't seen him yet, And I passed
Oh.
him, and he didn't even look at me. He like seen me, didn't acknowledge. I'm like,
Oh.
all right, Tom's my buddy. So I'm at this house. All of a sudden, the cops are there. They're at the front door, the back door. I couldn't have ran. They were ready for me to run out the back door because there was a cop standing at the back
Oh.
door. So they're like, "We're looking for Jesse." So I go to the door. I'm like, "What's up, Tom?" And he's like, "Here's tickets." So he gave me tickets, even though the four wheeler wasn't there. I got away on the four wheeler. It's hidden in storage. He gives me tickets for reckless driving, fleeing to elude, ATV on a public highway, and destruction of city property.
Oh, because the rocks.
Because the rocks. It cracked his
Oh
windshield
my God.
and the paint job. He had to get a paint job out of
That's
that.
so bad.
Yeah. So, anyways, so he gives me these tickets, but I got all these drugs inside, so I don't want to, like, shake any feathers. So I take them, which I'm going to have to take them anyways. He's
Yeah.
handing them to me. So I'm like, all right. So when I go to court on those tickets, I had also had like a 20 over in my vehicle and another speeding ticket. I'm already going to lose my license. I was just running reckless. So
At least suspended, like, because all of these
Yeah.
tickets for reckless driving.
right, and those court dates were coming up. So when I go for the four wheeler, the DA or whatever is like, "Hey, Jesse," like he's my old chum, He's like, "Hey, man," he's like, "Hey, I was looking over your case here. It looks like if you just plead guilty to reckless driving and fleeing to elude, then we'll throw out all your other traffic tickets." And I'm thinking I'm on my four wheeler, And I was like, okay. I was like, "What's that entail?" And he's like, two $100 fines. He's like, "You pay him today, you're done."
What?
I'm like, sweet. I think it's more.
This is the prosecutor, not like your public defender.
Yeah, this is the courts guy.
Ooh.
So in my head, I'm like, $200 right now. You'll throw all that shit out. I think I hit a lick. So I'm like, deal. Sign it. Pay the $200. Couple weeks later, I got a letter in the mail saying I was revoked because I pled guilty to reckless driving, which I didn't realize on a four wheeler will do the same as a car on your license, as a motorized vehicle. So
And he left that little part out. What a
yeah,
little snake.
yeah, he tricked me,
Man.
tricked me.
So now you're revoked at that point.
So then I was revoked. It didn't
That's
stop
nuts.
me. None. I'd still burn their ass up on the rapper.
Right, you're not going to stop riding your four-wheeler everywhere.
I did get 2 driving on revokes,
You did.
both on four wheelers. So one time I was revoked in my vehicle. I got my buddy's like utility four wheeler. It was like a Honda 450 4x4, and I rode it from West Frankfort to Carterville to my mom's
God.
house.
So that's like, what, a 30-minute drive at least?
Yeah, probably 20 miles, something like
crazy.
that. I'm just out chilling, riding this
Like,
four
like
wheeler.
it's your vehicle, literally.
I get to my mom's and I pull up to the barn, and I got off and the barn was locked, so I had to go around and open the door from the inside. And when I opened it, there's a cop car right behind the four wheeler,
Oh,
and I'm like, damn it! I had smoke in my pocket, so I'm like, "What's up?" He gave me a ticket for driving on revoked.
oh my God.
I'm pretty sure I beat that one because I got my license back, so I beat that one. The other time was I was on a dirt bike, little TTR 125.
What?
Me and Dustin, who's also dead.
The guy from the weeds that weren't told
The guy
Jesse
that
about
crawled.
the SEG agent. What
was it?
And the Serengeti. That's what my brain went to.
Right. So, me and Dustin went to the hill, and we get there and we're inside, and we came from like Inchcliffe Cemetery. We crossed the main road, went to the hill. All private property or city property except for the main road. We get up there and we're inside, we're doing our thing, and all of a sudden, bang, bang, bang on the door. I'm like, shit, it's the cops. And we're hiding everything. I had like 10 grams. I hit it. I tell my buddy, here's this, don't like get rid of it if I get in trouble or, whatever. I hid it at his place. So we're hiding. The cop's like, "You come out, we won't impound these dirt bikes. If you don't come out, we're taking your dirt bikes." Well, hell, we just been out riding. We're having a good time. We don't want them to take our dirt bikes.
Oh
So
my God.
we're like, damn, what should we do? And my buddy's like, let's go out. We go out, they arrest us and impounded our dirt bikes.
Oh,
Yeah.
for what? Riding on the roads and stuff, or what? Like, you probably don't remember, I guess.
Because we crossed the main road. It was
Oh,
I got a driving on revoke because I took a motorized vehicle across the main road.
that's nuts. And what's crazy? So this is how old were you then? Probably like 18, 19?
Yeah, probably 18,
Because
19.
that's around the time I met you. Was like you were 19.
Yeah, I had a lot going for me when she met me. I didn't have a
Yeah.
license.
I had issues. I don't know. I mean, he's good looking. What can I say? But no, I think were you almost 21. I literally can't remember. I'd have to look at like a calendar. I feel like I met you when you were 19, but we dated when you were like 20, 21. Because I was I was in the very end of high school and starting junior college when we were dating.
You want to tell them the story about how you first met me?
I guess we could.
So, I'd been up for about a week.
This makes me look really bad.
I'd been up for a minute, so I wasn't looking my best.
I don't think so. I don't think that's true because you didn't look that bad.
I was always up for a week
Okay,
at that
that's
time.
fair. I
That
don't know.
time
I just didn't know, I guess.
Yeah, she didn't know. That's just how I looked. If you look back at
How you look all the time.
look at our TikTok in that video with my first picture of us.
Yeah, that's
just-
true. You did look really small.
You had blinders on.
Yeah, Rico Suave.
So I'm laying on the couch because that's where
You
my bed
weren't.
was.
You were sitting up. It was like a party. There was people there. You were sitting on the couch with other people.
I'm gonna let Lisa tell the story.
I'll tell the story. This is like when I'm talking about going places you shouldn't be because you're out too late. So I had a couple of friends that I'd been friends with for years because like, you know, when you're a freshman in high school and you meet seniors. So you're 14, they're 17, 18. So now I was like 16 when we first met, but we didn't start dating then. So I have friends that are, 19, 20, Jesse's age from his class. So that's just when we met.
She was definitely not 14.
No, I'm saying I had friends from when I was
Right.
14.
Correction.
We met in person. We didn't date for a couple years after that because you were all crazy. Jesse, I'll get back to the story, but Jesse, when I first met him, was like acting interested in me, but he would be like, I'm going to call you tomorrow. I'm like, okay. And like literally a week would go by and then he'd be like, hey, what's up? Call me. And I'd be like, dude, you said you'd call me tomorrow. It's been a week. And I, again, being naive, didn't realize he hadn't been to bed yet. So to him, it was like the next day. And he's like, hey, all casual. What you doing? What's up? And I'm like, I've been waiting for you to call for a week, dude. Like, and he would just
I thought you meant after I slept next.
I literally, it was just a disconnect because I don't think didn't realize like exactly his position at that time in life. Yeah, but it's looking back now, it's funny because I'm like, that makes sense of why I always thought you were blowing me off. And you're like, no, I didn't. I was always trying to get a hold of you, but I'm like, it would go weeks without calling, but it's because he thought it was the same day. Yeah, he had a lot going on
busy.
that I didn't know about.
It's hard running a little drug empire.
Yeah, clearly. But, so I'm with my friends that are years older than me and they obviously don't have curfews because they're now like 18, 19, 20. And I don't have a curfew because I'm such a good kid and I'm responsible. So I think we'd been out on the lake or something, me and my friends. And they're like, let's go. There's people, drinking like a little party up on the hill where Jesse lived, stayed on the couch. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll go. So we go to this party at this house. And I remember walking in the front door and I see this good looking guy being Jesse on the couch. And I look right at him and he looks at me and it literally is, this is so lame, but I feel like he's my soulmate. And it was like, there was an immediate connection, I feel like, and you say the same. But anyway, so we're like looking at each other like, and I feel like it's a Disney magical moment.
Everybody gets quiet.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's quiet and it's just me and her and she's got a halo over her
So
head.
in that moment, that's what it felt like.
Magic moment.
Yes. And then immediately, like 5 seconds after that moment, I was, still walking forward into this house. I kick something and I look down because it's making this crazy sound and it's a bug zapper in their house.
We didn't have screens on our windows or doors.
Because this house, remember, doesn't have plumbing. It's like
We didn't have a refrigerator.
they didn't have a fridge. So they have a bug zapper inside their living room catching all the bugs. And I kick it over and it's like,
There's like bugs crawling all over.
And I mean, I was mortified because I was embarrassed. And then when I tell you the story, like, when we talk about it now, you're like, well, I was mortified because there's a bug zapper in my house. And now this girl just walked in and kicked it over.
Right.
That was our first interaction. And for some crazy reason, I still thought he was a catch.
we used to have roosters, so we didn't have a screen door. We'd have the front door open.
Yeah.
We'd have like
It was, like, wide
halogen
open.
lights set up out in the front yard working on a crotch rockets like 3 in the morning with like
God.
hammers, like not even the right tool. But
Yeah.
we'd had chickens and roosters, and every morning this rooster would walk up to the top of the steps and crow into the house, and we'd be sitting there.
No.
Like,
It wasn't waking you up.
No, it wasn't waking us up. It would just walk up there and crow. Yeah.
It was trying to do its job.
It was trying.
That's funny. And weird that you left the doors open, but.
Right. Well, I mean, we were sitting right there waiting on somebody to come by and say hi.
That is just such a weird life.
Which they would. Like, so many times, one guy from the trailer court just showed up one night. We're just sitting there. Guy walks in pretty much. He's like, hey, I gave us pictures. That's what it was. He
Of
lived in the
what?
trailer court. My buddy lived in this trailer like 10 years prior to this, and we
Okay.
had a bunch of pictures of drugs and us doing drugs
What?
on one of those cameras that was like,
Who would take? Why would you take pictures like that?
well, it wasn't me, it was them pretty much.
Oh,
And probably because they weren't that bright, I guess they were drug addicts. I don't
that's
know.
insane.
Yeah. So this dude walks up and he's like, hey, and this is like middle of the night. He's got some beers. And he was drunk, and he's like, I just wanted to give you guys something. We're like, what's that? And he gives us these pictures that they had forgot in this trailer they had hidden somewhere. He's like, I found these in my house.
Incriminating photos.
Yeah, and he's like, it's
Oh.
you guys. And we're like, oh, and we sat there, got all messed up, had a good time
That's weird.
with some random dude
From the trailer
from the
park.
trailer court. He was just happy. He knew what he was doing. He was trading that
Forged his
collateral
path through the tall weeds
through
and
the tall weeds.
to the hill
Right.
with the pictures. Yeah, that's
That's right.
wild. These stories are weird. And then, that's what I was getting at. Your revoked license. So that's how we met. And then it took a couple years that Jesse decided he was going to try to get sober because he realized all his friends were getting in trouble and right. And like, you just didn't want to live that life anymore, I guess.
Did it for you, baby.
But I think there was two sides to that. So he was trying to get sober. So he had a revoked license, no job, lived in his mom's basement, all these
Bad
things.
credit already.
Right. But so he had to get a job, right? Because you have to have money. And the closest place walking distance.
Tell me size doesn't matter.
So the closest place he could go work, that he could walk to, was Hardee's in our town. So you were like, I feel like you were 21 or almost at this point.
Yeah.
And
I've
like,
done been everybody's dealer, the man of the hour.
high on the hog. Like, I feel like, yeah, you went from being top dog. And that just shows, I think, that how humble Jesse is, because that's a hard thing to do. Now you got to walk through your small town to work at the local fast food joint at this age. Like, but I just show the kind of like character he truly has. One of the reasons I love him. Like, he was willing to do that to try to build a better life, even though step one was walking to Hardee's, like all through the main road of all the traffic, like everyone that has known you your whole life's watching. So he did that. And then what's funny is I was always good at like English class, reading, writing in school. And I also am a good researcher. Like, I love looking stuff up online. I can figure out how to do just about anything if I need to find something out. So I was like, surely there's got to be a way. You're changing your life. You're 21 years old, walking to Hardee's to like, beg the Secretary of State for your license back. Like, it's worth a shot, right? Everything's never hurts to ask for anything in life. Like, the worst someone's going to say is no. And so I helped Jesse draft a letter. Like, he expressed, his true issue, which was, I made a lot of mistakes. I rode my four-wheeler. I was reckless. I ran from cops. I regret it. I was stupid. I was young. And I'm trying to change. And now my only employment opportunity is literally a fast food place. And I want to do better. So we wrote this letter that was true and factual. I wrote it. He told me what point he was trying to make, and mailed it off to the Secretary of State. And they freaking said, okay.
They gave me my license back.
They said,
no
we'll
restrictions.
give you another chance.
And I had been...
How crazy. I'm
before
still in
this-
shock about that.
Before this, I had to go in front of like a board and try to get it back like a year, because it took 2 years to get my license back. So I was only revoked for 1 year. When that year was up, I went in
And
front
you
of the
got
board.
it driving on revoked, though, you said, right?
Yeah.
Which is really bad.
I think that was later, or it was
Oh,
off.
okay.
At 1 year, I went to the board. And they
And
were
they
like,
said no.
absolutely not. Like, it wasn't even a 5-minute little meeting. I went in thinking I was getting my license back, and they're like, nope. Not even close, but I was still just running wild.
Yeah. And they
Right.
probably could ask around and learn that about you. Like, and the cops can probably say, like, this guy hasn't changed. He's still doing,
Yeah.
we see him driving around. We just haven't given him a ticket for it.
Right.
But yeah, so by the grace of God, they
I
took
had to be
this
humble.
letter and said, yeah.
I had to
And I
go.
mean, I think maybe you sent proof of employment or, whatever, and just because it was the truth.
Yeah, I had to go work at Hardee's for a little bit. I don't remember how long I worked there, but a good 6 months or more.
Yeah, for sure.
Fucking launched a Red Burrito in Carterville, Illinois. It was a big deal. Felt like something.
But it just does speak to, and so Jesse, started his journey of getting sober before he got indicted, years before. But for anyone that's struggling now, like, you can't, or just coming home from prison or something, like, you can start from the bottom, like,
easy.
And even in fast food, I always tell people that, like, even if fast food is where you want to work, that's fine. But if you want to make more money and stay in that field because you know it so well, work your way up and be a manager. Right. My GM back in the day, because I started out working fast food as a teenager too, she made like $75K a year, and this is like 2004. So I'm sure those GMs are making much more now. You can make some good money if you apply yourself and be like, any job you have. I don't care what it is, like mopping the floor, not to put down any kind of job, but just, being a cashier, just a simpler job. Be the best at that. And like, you never know if someone will see you working. Like, that actually happened to me at Hardee's. Someone saw how good I was working, and like, I never just sit around. We had phones, but not like you do now with the apps. But like, I was always cleaning the counters, mopping the floor, being nice to customers. And someone approached me about a different job, like doing retail closer to home, where I had to be working fast food. And like, because he was like, I saw what a good worker you are. And like, so there's opportunities out there.
How cute she was, but go ahead.
Whatever. It wasn't like that. But
Mr. Steal Your Girl come in with the job.
He was a nice family guy, and his family was starting this little business. But the point was that if you do your best at any job, no matter what it is, it can't.
I want to know his name.
You probably knew him. We were probably dating then.
Who? You and him? No, I'm joking.
So I'm just saying, I think at any job, even if you feel like it's below you or beneath you, like, don't feel that way, because anyone that's working any job, I have total respect for. But like, if you're willing to do any job, like I said, and then you get a skill set, show up on time, do a good job, work your way up, or now you have a good reference that they can call for a better job, stuff like that. But so that's where you like.
For me at that time, I think I might have worked there about 6 months.
I almost think it was longer.
It may have been a year. However long it was, it quickly I went from there to Circuit City, which was a factory job. Yeah. And then I went to Crown Line, which was another factory job. I think they all paid the same. And really, I liked the fast food better than I liked all the other ones. Yeah.
You hated that. That just wasn't for you.
In my personal experience, the fast food girls are kind of like the NA girls.
We're cutting that out. You can't be doing that shit.
I thought it was funny. Yeah, so from the Crown Line, I went to Dish Network. Crown Line laid off everybody.
The boat factory.
Okay. And then we went to Dish Network, where I was doing good, making good money.
Installing the satellites and stuff, right? Like, as a technician.
Mm-hmm. So you just got to use what you can as stepping stones. If you're starting at the bottom, even if you're making minimum wage, do it. Start getting some money coming in,
and get a work history. And
get a
show
work
that you're
history,
reliable.
Get a routine, of getting up, getting ready, going to work.
Yeah.
And then just use that as stepping stones. And just because you're at a factory job, that's not bad at all. I like all kinds of jobs. But
lots of people like that job, and that's everyone's built different. So like, I could understand why working in a factory is desirable, because you have to do every day. You don't have like lots of unknown stressors or like headaches. Like, you know what your role is. You go in and do it. You get paid for it. And so there's lots of people that's perfect for them, because that's the kind of job they want. So that's why it works.
Yeah. But you want to get out there and be an entrepreneur. Don't lie. I did. When I was in the factory, all I could think about is why this guy knows out here with the damn lawn mowing business. It looks it looks like he's having fun. And I got old Tammy Whammy over here want to know why I don't have 3 boats done today. So yeah, I did kind of envy the the more outdoors.
Yeah.
You're getting sun.
Yeah.
There was no AC in the factory I was in. What? It was hot. That's why they laid off. In July, they would shut down. I'm glad they had shut down for a month
But
because it
it's
was so
hot
hot.
in like June and it's hot in August
Dude,
and
it would
September.
get so hot in there. It would be so hot. Everybody be soaking wet. We're building brand new
Oh,
boats.
sweating in them.
So you know what I did when I was at the
What?
factory job? I saw that the guys working inside the boat building like the rooms, where you'd sleep, the cuddy cabins. So the boat windows, they got those little oval windows.
Yeah.
They had these little air conditioners, and they would put them in there, and inside the boat they would have an AC.
You would turn it on?
I was like, well, I'm going for that job there. I mean, those jobs are like coveted jobs. There's like 20 of them in the plant, and those dudes been in there 20 years.
No.
I was up in that cabin quick. It didn't take me
And there
6
you go,
months.
though. You worked your butt off so that you got
Worked my
promoted
butt
to
off.
that role.
I started in the engine bay, hotter than hell. I was having to hook up all these hoses.
That's nuts.
And then I went to, I think, the bathrooms, which I can't remember what they called them. And then I went to the cabins. And yeah, at that point, you got the radio. You can turn on the radio. Got the AC blaring.
Making the best of
It
your
was
situation.
good times. We would go, at that time, it was 20 years ago, I'd smoke pot. And we would go, me and a couple of my buddies, on break, every break. But I mean, hell, our job wasn't that damn hard. And the bosses didn't care. We'd go on break and get high, and then I'd come back in, and all the time we had these air staple guns, like pneumatic staple guns, and I'd be holding vinyl over, and I'd staple, and I'd shoot a staple in my finger, and I'd be like, oh.
Oh.
And one time I shot it straight in the tip,
gross.
and it went in the bone, and I usually if I shot them in my finger, I could just
disgusting,
grab them and
dude.
pull them out.
That's so
And the
gross.
one that went in my fingertip, I grabbed it, pull it out, and my fingernail just slid down, and I was like, oh no, it was in there. And And all the bosses were outside the boat, like at the back talking. And I'm like all ripped up. So I'm like, shit. So I had to grab a pair of pliers and pull it out.
No, that's disgusting.
And then
I
tape it up.
refused.
Yeah,
Oh,
tape it
God.
up because I couldn't say that
I'm surprised you could do that because that stuff usually grosses you out too.
Yeah. I mean, I had no
You
choice.
had no choice. You had to save your job.
Had to do it. So I'd pull staples
I'm
out.
talking about dedication to keep your job.
But I also, even though I was getting high at that time, they, whenever I left there, they would call me for months. I knew every damn trick to the book on building them boats. And they would call me and be like, hey, we got a boat built. Somebody cut it by accident with a knife, and there's a big cut. And once the hull and the bow are put together, the bathrooms are already installed. So if the fabric got cut, they couldn't just change it.
Whoa.
So I literally would talk new people
That's
through
awesome.
on the phone.
But look at how valuable you were. If you had stayed there, you probably could have been like, I'll stay for a raise or whatever, you know?
No, I did. I was moving up quick. So I went there under Crown Line would use like extra help type places. That's how I got hired with for extra help. Hiring agency.
Temp agency.
And everybody's like, oh, it takes 2 years for the temp agency to get hired on. I got hired on in like 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And then my roommate got hired on. He had been there like 4. Then my brother. And then my buddy, we all get hired on within like 4 months.
You guys all go to the same place.
I remember one time I went to the bathroom. I sit down, I'm taking a shit, and I look at the door, and there's somebody wrote on the door something about me being a kiss ass or something. I wasn't a kiss ass. I just like to learn things.
You did your job and you talked to people, so the boss probably liked
biggest
you.
kiss ass, Jesse May or something. I'm like, damn.
Damn, man.
But they had these little forklifts. They were stand-on forklifts. Had a lever you'd turn, and they'd pick up, and you'd move the boats through the plant.
Yeah.
So at that time, I told them, because I'd go outside on my break, I'd come back in. What my trick was, I'd look at the ground, so I had to look up, so my eyes didn't look all crazy. So I'm looking at the ground, and I'd look up, and I'd come in, and they got these $300,000 boats. I was moving the 340s, which is the biggest one they build. And it'd take 8 people on the back of the boat, and I would go on the front, and they would steer the back end, around. Crazy. They were on these big carts. So I come in, there's all these bosses and all these people, and they want to move this big, nice boat. And I made a new rule. I was like, listen, because I tried to move it, and I was like, there's pipe on each side an inch, and you got to move it through these big pillars through the building. It's hairy. And I'm doing it, and I don't know, they weren't working with me, and I was like, listen, 15 minutes after break, I ain't doing this shit. And they were like, why, Jesse? And I was like, because think about it. You go swimming, you get a cramp. I was like, 30 minutes after you eat, you don't swim, or
Oh,
until 30 minutes.
what a
And they're
weird
like, what's that got to
analogy.
do with anything? I was like, well, what if I cramp and I'm on this damn dolly after I eat on
They're
my
like, you
break?
went swimming on your 15-minute
Yeah,
break?
they're all confused, but they're like, okay, Jesse.
You
And I
made the
was like,
rules at
yeah,
that
give
place.
me 15 minutes. Let me go sit in my AC.
That's funny.
I'll call you. I remember Tammy, which was the boss, she probably still is. And one time I was like, Tammy, I had fireballs, like the candy in my pocket.
Oh,
And I was like, hey, Tammy, I got fireballs. And she was a middle-aged woman. And she looks at me and she's like, what are you talking about? And I pulled one out. I was like, you want a fireball? I was kind of being, you know what I mean, flirtatious, but I was also really just giving her a fireball.
yeah.
And this chick walked around all day holding the fireball between her two fingers and licked it
What?
down to a little ball. Like I would see her
Why
walking
wouldn't she
around
put
the
it in her
plant,
mouth?
licking it like a cat all day long. I mean, like hours later, it's like a little white ball,
Just
and she's
savoring
licking
it.
this damn thing. Yeah, she savored it.
Best fireball she ever had
Yeah,
out of your pocket.
that's right. So, more crazy stories. We didn't talk much about business yet. You want to get to that?
So one thing we could talk about, talking about like, writing well and like presentation and things in any kind of job. So if you do start your own business and you're going, whether it's even, texting or emailing customers, or we found a lot of success in advertising on Facebook. It's pretty affordable and you get a lot of return. At least we have. But so, like, what benefits Jesse is that his strong point is numbers and math and lots of other things that I'm not good at. And my strong point is reading and writing. So, like, he would, like, we kind of do that together. He'd be like, hey, this is what I want to say on this post. Like, type it up, or he'd type it up and be like, hey, proofread this, add commas,
Most of the time, it was horrible.
Yeah. And that's okay. It's just that's not your strong point. Like, everybody has their things. Like, I use my fingers to add. So, that's not my strong point. But so if you're not good at that stuff, that's okay. And if you don't have a spouse or even a sister, a cousin, your mom, anyone, I mean, you can ask anyone like, hey, proofread this for me, check it over and send it back to me in text and then I'll post it. But if you don't have someone like that you can ask, Word documents or even text, will adjust a
Mm-hmm.
lot. They don't do perfect, so don't totally trust your text message, but there's so many free ways to plug in, like type something up in a Word document. It'll correct stuff for you and then copy and paste it into Facebook to do an ad, or an email. Like
Yeah.
I just,
Proper grammar and punctuation on a posted ad, because
oh yeah.
once you sponsor an ad, you can't take it down, right?
I think you can delete it, but you cannot edit it. So, like, if
There
you
you
make
go.
a post on Facebook and you're like, "Ooh, I messed it up," you can go and edit it even on a business page. But if you boost it or sponsor it, so you pay a little money to like advertise it, then you can't edit it. And we've done that a couple of times with little things. It'd be like a comma or something silly, but like you don't want to misspell a bunch of words or have like a lowercase letter at the beginning of a sentence or misspell your phone number, and then advertise that because people are like, like. I feel like people are judging that. That's just the way it
I'm only
is.
paying that guy half price.
Yeah,
he's a little court low on that.
yeah, even though it doesn't equate to the knowledge you have for your work, like I just said, that's not your strong point, but you can go do excavation better than anybody I know. But people are it's just the way the brain works. People want to read things that are well written and sound good. So, take your time and use your resources, whether it's a person or a Word document or whatever. I'm sure there's other apps you can use to correct grammar and stuff, before you share stuff. And like when you're texting customers, because that does come up. I mean, talk on the phone when needed, but some people like when I deal with contractors, I'm like, just text me, man. I don't have time to take your call. Let's text about it. You can still be polite and use sentences. You know what I mean? And like get your
Right.
point
Don't
across.
use letters as words.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Don't
are
abbreviate
you with a
stuff and
you.
be respectful. Say thank you. Treat it like a phone call, like when you're responding. So I think that's important. Just making sure like the presentation's good on that, because that way people, if you just seem more professional. And even something I was thinking about too, like when you think about you're starting out and you might not have the money, for shirts and hats and all that logo stuff, which I totally get. Like that's a big expense. Everyone knows someone that does like the vinyl print.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's pretty cheap. Or even screen printing. Like we know
Right.
people that do full-fledged screen printing now, but at home. But you could go to Walmart and buy a pack of t-shirts and have, trust me, ask any woman in your life. Someone knows someone put logos or words, and designs on stuff. And these shirts are not going to last forever. It's a temporary thing because the vinyl peels off after you wash it so many times. But you can have your business name put on a few shirts just so you look more professional when you're meeting customers, going to bid jobs. Like that stuff matters. I think making
Appearance.
sure, yeah, basic
Appearance is
basic
important.
hygiene.
Yeah. A fresh
We
haircut
talk
goes a
about
long
that.
way. If you show up and you look like you're run ragged and you can't keep up and you ain't got time to get your hair cut,
Or take a
just,
shower.
yeah, stinking. I don't know.
Well, like
That
in the
turns me
summer,
away.
like, yeah, for sure. And in the summer, like Jesse, when he'd work all day and obviously he's gonna be dirty and sweaty, but he had to go look at a job, after work instead of on a Saturday for a million different reasons. Jesse would, pack a extra clean shirt in the truck. So that way when he got off, I mean, he's still going to not be fresh out of the shower, but he can put on a clean, dry hat that's not all sweaty and a clean t-shirt that's not all sweaty. So at least he doesn't look dirty and he doesn't smell, like a working man to go meet these customers. It's just like little stuff like that I think goes along with customers, just your appearance and obviously when you work in a lot of trades, your stuff's going to get stains on it. Like that's inevitable. But using good stain remover, like on your laundry, like it's just little things that can help make your clothes last longer, which is going to save you money and then make you look a little more presentable when
Right.
you're out. I mean, obviously he's going to have work pants on that have grease stains and stuff and dirt. I mean, it's just going to happen, but you can if he gets a hole in his pants, we retire the pants, like,
I also think presentation is good as far as your equipment and your vehicles.
mm-hmm.
So, like, I never get brand new vehicles, but I've had so many compliments on my vehicles that are a few years old. But just, I think it gives the customer when you're showing up to bid $100,000 or something dollar job,
Any
and
job,
I'm
any
not
college, I
driving
think.
a $2,000 vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes them a little more at ease. And then with equipment, we bought a D3 one time that looked like it came straight out of the swamp. I looked it over. It was a good machine. Everything was tight, but it
Mm-hmm.
was sitting under this tree and it was like covered in
Yeah.
green algae.
Yeah.
I took it, we pressure washed it, we gave it a paint job. This dozer went from like a $20,000 dozer to a $40,000 dozer with like 8 rattle cans of spray paint from Cat. I mean, it just, and a
Same with
sticker
like
sheet,
is it the roller or the sheep's foot roller was kind of rough looking. So we
Yep.
painted it.
And it looked
Or you
brand
can
new.
order sticker kits. So like for heavy equipment and other stuff, like you can get
That
Bobcat
roller.
sticker kits. Oh yeah, I don't know if it's in my shot or not. It's up here, but so you can paint the stuff, pressure wash it, paint it, and put new stickers on that aren't peeling off, and it changes your look so it looks better. So we had talked about before, not caring what people think, and I mean that as on the personal end of things, but you should care what your customers think, and you still don't have to blow a bunch of money to do that.
Right.
Spray paint, sticker kits, pressure wash, that's buying shirts at Walmart until you can afford to order shirts that are going to last you longer and putting some, business name on it, logo stuff. That is easy, cheaper ways to make things look better until you get to a point where you can, just buy the stuff that looks nicer and the shirts have them made professionally and stuff like
Right.
that.
I think the logo is important. Just, when I show up to customers' houses, I usually talk to them before I come. They know I'm coming. But having for me, it's like a school uniform.
Yeah.
Every day I wear
yeah.
the same thing.
Doug.
I look
The show
like,
Doug.
yeah, the cartoon Doug. That's me. If you go to my closet, I've got like my after work wear, and then I've got my work wear, and it's like all khaki pants, like carpenter pants,
Mm-hmm.
and then all green shirts.
Safety
And they're
green
all the
shirts.
exact same.
It's
so
so
every
funny.
day, 5, 6, 7
But
days
it
a week.
works. It's so he knows what pants are just for work. He knows what shirts he's wearing to work that he can trash. Like,
Right. I'm not
and
wearing my regular clothes and working
No.
in them. They wouldn't last. The work outfit's good. It lets people know that you have a uniform. I don't know. It just makes me feel like you've got more, you care about it more. You're trying.
looks more professional, even in the trade business. I think having a shirt with your business name on it, at least, just so people know, like you're not just some random, like you said, they know you're coming. But I feel the same way, even in our home, when contractors come over. If unless I know them personally, like I'd rather them have a name on their shirt, just so you know for sure they're like with this company. They're not some random, I don't know, some random guy I'm letting in the house. Like I don't know, who are you?
It doesn't have to be your name. Just any name will work. Doug, whatever.
I know. I just mean like the business name. It doesn't have to have their name on it, but yeah, I just think the presentation of yourself and what you put out there on the internet or text or email it definitely matters. And you got to slow down and think about that stuff. And yeah, and just make sure you're put together enough.
I've
Take
had
the dang shower. I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but I swear I can smell people and they didn't shower in the last 24 hours. Even if they don't stink bad, I just like, maybe that's just a me thing.
you got a nose like a hound dog.
I don't know. So I just feel like everyone
I'll
can
be
take
on
a
the other end
shower.
of the house and let a little toot out, and she'll be like, "I smelt that."
Everyone can get cleaned up, especially when you're meeting with customers, and you want to just have a good first impression.
Yep.
And every impression. Even my friends make fun of me. Like, I don't get all dolled up every day, but I always take a shower in the morning and put on some kind of clothes. I'm not in my pajamas, like, because I never know. I never know in a day. I work in our office if I'm going to have to go to a Bobcat dealer, if I'm going to have to go to wherever, any equipment dealer, our insurance agent last minute, tax accountant stuff. I might have to go meet a client, get payment. So it's like I always am prepared, even if I'm in like, a hoodie and leggings, I can just change my clothes, but I'm always got a little bit of makeup on. My hair's clean. Like I can show up somewhere in 20 minutes and look presentable. And they're not like, oh, here's Jesse's wife in her pajamas coming to do business.
You
like,
get ready
it's not a
every
good look.
day, even though you work from home or your office is at our home. You're definitely ready every single day of the week, which is very important because if she shows up again, like she's saying, looking like a slob, then that's just how people are going to take you. She shows up looking like $1 million, and everybody's like, "Golly, did you see Jesse's wife? She's so pretty. She's so smart."
I don't know about all that.
They
That's
do.
what you say.
They say it. I was there.
But yeah, so just that kind of presentation. So I think that's important, and it's easy to, those are simple things.
And those are choices you can make that are easy. Yeah. Do I get up today and I'm be presentable, or am I just going to lay around all day and get nothing done? Luckily, I told you last night, Lesa chooses every day to get up and get work done. The house is always clean. Everything's done. Like there's so much. I don't know how she keeps up with it. I have a hard time keeping up with it. Yeah.
It's not easy, but that is a choice. I'm a night person, and I would much rather stay up late and sleep in, which we have kids, so I can't really sleep in. But definitely, I don't have to get up at 5 or 5:30. I definitely could sleep till 6:50 and just roll out of bed and take the kids to school. But like, yeah, and I'm not tooting my own horn here. Like, I'm not perfect. Our house isn't always spotless clean, but it's a choice I make to put effort into getting our house clean. And it's a choice I make to get up and take a shower and get a little makeup on. And some girls don't need makeup. I need a little makeup. So like, if you don't need it, that's great. Good for you. But like, just to be ready, steam my shirt if it's wrinkled, little stuff like that, because yeah, I don't want to be the reason our business doesn't look professional if I have to show up on a job and talk to people.
Yep.
And that's all about choices. Like we've talked about, making those choices and you feel better too. And you get up early and get going.
Like this is small stuff, guys, but like it all adds up. So like make sure your boots aren't falling apart. If I'm talking to somebody and I'm wanting them to do a $80,000 project, I just want to feel like they're good with their money.
Yeah.
I don't think it's great to show up and be like flashing money, because then they're like, whoa, that ain't good. But it's good not to show up and just, they're trusting you with a big chunk of money, with a big project. They need to know that you're professional, that you can manage money, because they're about to give you a big check to do something. They're in their mind, they don't know you, they just know of you and what they've met of you.
Yeah.
So they're counting on you. So it helps to show up presentable, don't cuss in front of your customers. We talked about that on Justin's. Don't be cussing. Wait till they cuss, and then you can slip in one.
Yeah.
Fit
you
in. Get in where you fit in.
You gotta feel people out and see what how they feel about stuff, and that's it's expensive. So like for people starting out, I know like Jesse's boots, his steel-toed boots are $200 a pair, probably. These at least like, $250.
They're up there.
So we get it. That sometimes you're like, oh my, like that's a huge expense when you're starting out, and so. Like I said, just save up a little bit at a time. Like you can do it, man. I'm telling you, like it's
they've got cheaper boots too.
They do. You can start with nicer boots that are less.
$100. Yeah. The Doc Martens I used to always wear. They're only
like 120 maybe. 20. You're right. So I mean, I don't know. It's stepping stones, and you got to start where you can. But that appearance and then that reputation you'll build will carry over for years.
Nah, I wear those Irish setter.
Those are nice boots.
Those are my house boots.
Yeah.
Those are my going out boots.
I wish you had your air out slippers on. Those are some good house
Do you
shoes.
have yours on?
No.
Luke, do you have yours on? We'll have to get Luke a pair.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up, but we appreciate you guys listening. We appreciate all the support we've gotten. We know we have a couple episodes coming out. You know, some of the quality doesn't look that great on the camera and the
Yeah,
audio.
we're going to be upgrading the cameras, and we
And
had
the
an audio issue, but
We're just learning. Give us a chance.
yeah, we're getting there. We're making these improvements.
What we're going to do is try to improve every video and get a little bit better, a little bit better. So we're going to look into getting some better cameras, whatever we got to figure out. So stick with us. We appreciate all the support. We love telling you guys a story. We've gotten lots of great feedback from people listening. So
From all over the country.
All
It's
over
been
the country.
cool.
It's really cool.
People sending messages and comments and stuff, like just liking the topics and the content. So we're happy that we can share whatever we've learned along the way, and what Jesse especially has learned.
And the main reason we're doing this, besides just liking to talk and hang out with each other, because we have fun right now, what we're doing, we're having fun together as a husband and wife. But our main goal is to reach people that want to change or that just need some advice. I mean, we're pretty friendly people, so if we can help you, we'll help you. But, just we're trying to give positive encouragement to get out of the drug world, or just get out of the day-to-day mundane, not really accomplishing nothing.
If you're not happy where you are, know that you can do something different.
Yep.
There's other options for you.
You just got to start.
Options are endless.
Start doing it. It starts adding up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Well, appreciate it, guys. Subscribe on Spotify and YouTube. It helps us out. And appreciate all those likes on TikTok. Thanks. All right, guys. We're going to wrap up. You can follow us on TikTok and YouTube at reckless.success. Instagram at reckless success. We're on Spotify and all major podcast services. Hit that subscribe button, please. For more information on May Excavating, check out our website or TikTok. That's a wrap. Thanks.